Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Joe. This is Vaulted Assets X. So I filmed this video yesterday, and the second half of the audio cut off because the battery died in my microphone. So I am refilming the second half of the video. So I uploaded the first half yesterday with the audio. Then I'm going to redo the second half now. And just to kind of recap, this is my experience and some of the photos from the Broward Hobby Show this past weekend, or in August of 2026. And I wanted to share some of my buys, some of my sells, and some of the cool cards that came up to the table. And at the end of the video, just give my overall perspective on how I see the UFC market, at least in a show setting, and give some perspective on that. So let's pick up where we left off. So this is a 1/1 Topps Now Sean Strickland 2024. This I sold at the show. I almost got full ask, which was pretty nice. So not a lot of people ask specifically for Sean Strickland, but one thing I try to focus on is having like really good cards of all the fighters with a name in the UFC that people would recognize, even if you weren't a UFC fan, so to speak. So this card sold for good value. Next is Lamine Yamal. I think he underperformed expectations of the World Cup, at least what collectors thought. I don't know what true soccer fans expected because I don't know any real soccer fans, at least that way. But his cards were a little weak. But this card I was fortunate enough to buy pretty cheap, and then I sold it the next day. And it's a really great looking card too in person. But I was glad to kind of get in and get out and do what I had to do. Next card was Topps Now John Jones Relic out of 99, the matte. Iconic image of him with that gut kick. And just, I don't know, it's a really special card. And sold and decided to sell it and went to a really good collector. Next, I just saw this at a table and thought it was cool. Just the Nintendo Switch Minecraft graded a 9.8 by WADA. I think these are really great to just put on a shelf in an office or in your bedroom. I think it's just a really cool, versatile collectible. The video game, the nostalgia, the case protecting it, and it easily can just on its own stand on a shelf. So I thought that was cool. Just want to take a picture of it. This as well, ColecoVision. If you're my age, you know ColecoVision very well. Grew up playing ColecoVision. Iconic, and just want to get a picture of that. Next, this was a huge, massive trade. Traded a PSA 7 Magic Johnson Larry Bird rookie, a box of 2019 Topps Chrome that has the Islam rookie in it. I traded a Max Holloway 1/1, a John Jones main event PSA 9 auto, a box of 2025 Midnight UFC, and a 2013 Georges Ruby out of 8. So what's interesting is that I hated giving up the Georges because I probably had a price too low, but it's fine. I went to a really good collector. I hated giving up the main event John Jones and a PSA 9 because those cards are impossible to grade. The 9, I think if I would have held out for that eventually, I could have got 1,500, but it is what it is. I gave all that up to trade into one card, which was this. LeBron James Authentic Auto 10. Auto, I will admit, while graded a 10, the end of the auto is a little weak, but that's fine. But to get into, a 20-year-old LeBron autograph, even though it's a sticker, and it's an authentic grade, but I was told that the person that submitted it didn't know any better, and they maybe expected, they might be want a 9 or a 10, and they knew they wasn't going to get it, so they just got authenticated. I don't know if I'm going to crack this to send it out to BGS or not. I'd really have to examine the card a little bit more. But fun pickup. Got rid of a bunch of stuff here and got into one upgraded card. So that'll be my showcase. I'm proud to display it at the next show. These are some Pokemon cards that somebody just wanted to show me. So I just took a picture of them. This is kind of an interesting story. So Connor Bedard, 1 of 1. The table next to me, it was the first time ever setting up at a show, and they are breakers. And they had this out because they hid it in their break. And I guess it got kind of popular on social media enough that at least a few people came up to their table just to see the card. And one individual was serious about buying the card. He thought it was worth between 12,000 and maybe 15,000. The breakers wanted 30,000. So it ended up just being kind of a museum piece for the show. I don't know if they're going to sell it or not, if they're serious about it. I have no idea what a card like this is worth, but it was just stunning to see in person. And fun card. Very cool. It's very unique, but having this in a showcase definitely gets a lot of attention. This Lamine, somebody I met on Instagram who's a really cool dude came up and wanted to sell this to me. I don't know enough about like the high-end Lamine market. The card's out of 8, but I don't know enough about it to make any intelligent decisions. So I reached out to a couple of buddies of mine, and basically it was like, depending who the buyer is, depending if somebody's trying to complete the set, depending on, 10 other factors that impact card prices, or 20 factors, whatever it is. They thought the car was worth between like 6 and 10 grand. I'm not sure. This was just a cool card. It was at a table, George Lombard, just with the red. And I liked the graffiti style. I didn't end up buying it, but I just wanted a good pick, and they ended up. This was a Pele flag that's autographed, encapsulated by PSA. Table also had a couple other Lombards. Just wanted to take a picture of it. Crappy photo, but whatever. This was a fun pickup. So this one I bought from a seller. The 2021 Immaculate Cyril Gone, 1 of 1 platinum. So this is an iconic card, but unfortunately his market sucks. I don't know what it is about him, but collectors do not respond to him. There's a direct comp of this card for 3 grand. I obviously bought it for less than that. But if you're interested in the card, let me know. It is available, and it will be out of my showcases, and maybe I'll throw it up on eBay one day. But sick card. I mean, I respect Cyril Gane. I remember when I started getting back into UFC, watching some of his early fights, and was amazingly impressed. And I don't know, maybe that changes one day, maybe not. If he has a big fight coming up against Aspinall or whoever, so we'll see. Same seller wanted to sell me this. They were a little less reasonable on this card. They wanted like 2,500, 2,200. It's a 1 of 1, but it's the white box 1 of 1. It was obviously less desirable, but Undertaker auto is gorgeous. I value the card at about $1,200. If I could have got it for $1,000, it would have been something interesting. But I appreciate him showing it to me. We had a long conversation about it, but we just couldn't get it done. He had this card as well, 2019 Topps John Boyega, thin red 1 of 1, gem in 10. So I just wanted to have a Star Wars card in my case, just to kind of cater to some more TCG people. I like to have a very varied case with a lot of different cool items. Even if I only have one of it, just to get somebody to stop and talk about it, it's worth it to me. It's kind of cool. I try to look at the other red 1 of 1s of some of the lesser characters, and there aren't that many available. I mean, it's hard to think, but 2019 was already almost 8 years ago. I think I picked it up for a pretty fair price, but hopefully it'll end up in a cool collector's home. If not, I'll just end up keeping it because I like it. This is a card with a story. So this walked up to the table, 2025 Topps Royalty, high-end elite product for UFC. Platinum 1 of 1 John Jones on card auto. So individual wanted to sell this, possibly trade it. I really wasn't interested because I already have so many really amazing John Jones cards. Not that this isn't, but to me, to get into a modern John Jones, it has to have something a little unique, like a relic or something different. Maybe like a different inscription or a dual autograph or something. But well, I like the card, and I had this card in a 1 of 1 of the Georges St. Pierre. Ended up selling that, but I just think if you're going to spend money on a 1 of 1, like, you really have to make sure it speaks to you and what you collect. And this didn't do it for me. So I ended up not buying it, but I know that the individual is trying to work out a trade with some other cards, and well, I said it's kind of an interesting card. You know, in talking about UFC on YouTube and my Instagram channel, you know, a lot of people ask my advice and my insight, but I also got to be cognizant that, you know, everything I say can be screenshotted and shared with someone else. So it's a little bit tough when somebody I know, actually, I take that back. This person I know in real life, obviously, but also like the person they're trying to trade it to, I have met in real life and know them as well. So like when somebody asks my opinion on the card, I want to be respectful of both parties and try not to really sway them one way or the other, but they just try to give them things to think about and let them come to their own conclusions. Because I would hate for me to say to hype this card up so much or to trash this card, whatever it is, then that conversation gets shared with the other person, and then they feel bad that I'm trying to kill the deal, or maybe they think I'm trying to steer it in my direction because I want it. And, you know, people are going to think what they want, but, you know, I got to put my head down at the pillow at night and feel good about myself. So I try to give like good advice that if the world saw the advice that A, they would think, you know, I'm trying to do the right thing, but also B, that I feel good about it. So whatever happens with this trade or this deal, I hope both people end up happy. This was another sick card I watched. Was at the table. Kirby Puckett, sticker autograph, tools of the trade, four game used pieces. The batting glove, the bat, the jersey, and the fielding glove. I've never seen a card like this before. It's an older card, obviously. Kirby Puckett passed away years ago. But a card like this, I would love to have in my collection. I was a huge Kirby Puckett fan when I was younger. It was a tragedy when he passed away. Great player. I know he had a little bit of off-field issues or whatever, but, you know, human beings were all flawed to some extent. But I really wanted the card, but he wanted a strong number, and I respected him for holding his guns because he'll probably get it from someone. But this card is sick, and who knows, maybe one day I'll end up with it. And also, Kirby Puckett has an amazing autograph. Look how perfect that autograph is. Next, Peyton Manning Kaboom. This was from the same individual. So this was part of trade with cash, and then we'll get to what I ended up selling the individual. So this was traded to me, and I ended up selling it a couple hours later. Car's worth about $4,500, give or take. This is also thrown in the trade as well. A gorgeous card. I've never really held one of these in person and really kind of tilted the card back and forth to look at the design, but sick card. It's worth about $250, $300, give or take. And individual ended up putting those two paintings and cash to get into this gorgeous Peachy Gretzky signed rookie PSA 8 Auto 10. And the reason why this Gretzky is particularly special is one, the centering is pretty solid, which for these cards is hit or miss. But two, the autograph falls within the inner frame of the card. So the autographs that I like have blue ink, which this does, but also they fall within the context of the card, and then they go outside the edge of the margins vertically or horizontally. So you can see there that Gretzky has perfect placement. So great pickup for this collector, and I hope he enjoys it. So this Khabib sticker, every time he signs, it sucks. He signs too quick. He signs too vicious, too aggressive, and they're always light. They're fine in the beginning. The horizontal strokes are light, and at the end, it's light. But this is a great card. Out of 15. Collector was happy. This was from Duffy's. After we were done, we went to Duffy's, got some food. And this is the infamous Ray Allen shot to save LeBron's legacy, allegedly. So I just want to get a shot of that. So that pretty much wraps up the show, I think. I don't think there's any other pictures. No. Yeah, so what are my overall impressions? Let's go back to let's go back to the Khabib. So at the show, it was kind of cool because a couple people showed up, and when I mean a couple, maybe 10. So more than a couple, maybe 10 people showed up looking for my table, knowing that I was selling UFC. So that made me feel good that the proof of concept of going deep in the UFC, where the cards are still reasonably affordable enough that I could afford the best of the best, but also the cards aren't so old that they're not unattainable. Like the first UFC product that was licensed came out in 2009, and the most expensive box, probably 2014 Bloodlines with the Connor, but the UFC round one boxes call it, say they're $6,000, right? That's a world that you can be the best of the best at UFC and not go absolutely broke. If I try to apply the way I'm doing UFC to other sports, it would cost me millions of dollars because the iconic first cards, the grails, the first boxes are just multipliers more. But my whole theory is that as time goes by, that will compress. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm not wrong, but that's what I think. And it just reaffirmed my decision to cycle out some of my Pokemon position in Sword and Shield, Scarlet Violet, which I did a video on previously, and I got destroyed in the comments that I was an idiot, I was a moron, I didn't know what I was doing, and they had a good point because at the time Pokemon just had infinite upside and never went down. But if you look at the time of that video, which was about a year ago, I think I've uploaded 100 videos now. So spread out maybe a year, maybe a little bit less. And you look at the Scarlet Violet and you look at Sword and Shield and what those booster boxes are doing, they're kind of flat. And the GOATs in UFC are up. So dollar for dollar from a pure spreadsheet analysis of the data, I made the right call. Now, will I be able to say that in 1 year, 5 years, 10 years? Who knows? But I can only operate in the time that I can control and make decisions and try to have faith in my conviction and see it through. I think that's a lot of things collectors don't do, is that they believe in something, they do the research, they do the data, they get in it, and when the card goes up 5 or 10%, or they get a little nervous, they bail on it. And I think that's a huge mistake. And I'm not going to make that mistake with UFC stuff. I'd rather lose everything and the UFC market goes to zero and the whole MMA community collapse and I lose all my money than bail on the thought of what this could possibly lead to. I owe it to myself to see it through. And I think a lot of collectors lack discipline. I think they lack conviction. And they're caught up in the fear of it. And you have to figure out a way to be immune to it and let time do what it has to do and let each day go by. And I think time will do the heavy lifting. That is my opinion for UFC specifically, but collectibles in general. But show is a huge success. Very happy, moved a ton of inventory. They calling inventory. It takes like the life out of the items. I moved a lot of collectibles, a lot of things that I bought because I like them, and I was happy to make a few bucks and have it go to really good collectors that hopefully will appreciate it. And it allows me to buy more cool stuff, which I was busy doing today as well. Do a future video on that. Picked up some fun one-of-ones and some other items as well. And that's basically about it. Amazing show. Next show I'm doing, let me pull up the exact dates. Would be, let's see, August 29th, August 30th, 2026, Hard Rock in Davie at the Guitar Hotel. I'll be set up there for 2 days with a pretty good mix of all collectibles, but definitely with some pretty good UFC stuff. So to close out the video, we're going to go back to the old tried and true tradition, which I did for a long time, is searching what UFC cards are ending on eBay tonight. So let me do my refresh and let's see what we got. Aspinall, O'Malley. I haven't done this in a while. I've been distracted. Ooh, we got a Holly Holm 101 vinyl. Let's pull that up on Card Ladder real quick. Actually, let me put up on the Card Ladder here. If I can type. I'm not even logged in. There we go. Holly Holm. We'll just do 101 vinyl just to get an idea. Let's see. 267, 250, 350. It's about right. So what is this one at? This is 2022, the autograph. I don't see that as sold. So the 270, no autograph. This is a 224. I'll throw a bid on this real quick. I'll do it on my phone just because it's easier to do. Let's see. Let me pull this up before it ends. It ends in 1 minute and 20 seconds, so the pressure's on. Let's see. Filter auction. Oh, it's crazy. There's 2 of them ending actually, both with autos. The 2023 and 2022. Why isn't the other one showing up? Oh, there they are. I'm gonna bid on both because I like Holly Holm, and her moment against Ronda Rousey will always live in my mind. It's just an iconic moment. So I'm gonna throw a bid of $300.23 at the last second. So you can bear with me for a minute because I'll do this on my phone, and then the other one I should be able to catch. Let's see what else is going on here. That was kind of cool. We caught 2 one-on-ones. Oh, an Islam purple. That's from Tops. What is that product? Is that? That's from Stadium Club Purple Parallel. Don't really care about that. 18 seconds. Put in my last second bid here real quick. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6. I like to do it at 5, 5. Oh, it went up to 321. I'm going to bid 385. Do I get it last second? I don't think I got it. Hello? For some reason, my screen went dark and I can't see anything. I'm not sure what happened. Let's find out. Cancel. Am I still recording? I think I'm still recording. Yeah, that was weird. Never had that happen before. Sorry about that. Okay, so I ended up bidding 385. It ended up going for 390, so I lost. So the other one is up, the 2023. Let's go back to that. So this is the one ending now. 10, 9, 8. So I'm going to bid 390.23, 5. I got outbid. I'm going to bid 400. Wow, I got outbid 411. Huh. That usually doesn't happen. Huh. Hollywood market is not too bad. Both went for almost 400 bucks, and I lost them both. That sucks. I'm pissed. I should have bid higher, but it's hard looking at this. Yeah, maybe I should have looked higher because the car ladder value is almost 400. Not that that really means much, but oh well. Let's keep it moving. What else do we got? Anything else cool? Diego Lopez collagographs. I love these cars. Those cars are so sick. Let me just pull that out so I can look at it. Masterful design on that card. Great spacing. Great. They did geometry of the background, the images. Very cool. See what else. Anything else cool? Oh, a GSP Twilight. Huh. Out of 2026. Great card. I have the 25 out of 5. Those cards in person are even better than when they look online. I think you find a lot of cards like that too. Like online, they look pretty good, but once you actually see them in person, it's like, whoa, like you have to have that card. That's why seeing cards in person is so much better. I mean, obviously with technology and buying stuff online, like the efficiency of all this is awesome. There's nothing like seeing a card in person though, without a doubt. Let's see what else. Wow, this Valentina at a 299. So many of her card. See, a card like this, I wouldn't mind if she signed her old style signature and maybe it was at a 50 or less, but at a 299 is tough. I understand you got to get it out to collectors and, get it out in the system. And I totally respect that. And I agree with that. But I just know for me, not my type of card. And that looks like about it for tonight. The rest of the auctions don't end for a while. So anyway, we're just gonna wrap it up. Like, comment, subscribe, comment down below. And as always, I appreciate your time and taking a few moments of your day to talk about UFC, collecting, and share our passion together. Thank you so much.